One. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Life is Better with Music with Gavin and Mitchell. Sorry about last week that we had to skip. Something came up in the middle of us recording last week, so we actually just decided to push it ahead, just so we could deal with those personal matters at hand. But let's catch back up. The last time you saw us, we talked about Mitchell's musical journey and how like jazz music and him being in jazz band tied into that for him. And now we're going to dive into my musical journey and how kind of like wind ensemble really shaped a lot of my musical back and forth. And then also choir is a big part. And obviously, marching band's a huge part of my life. So, but specifically, wind ensemble has like this weird, heartwarming place to me, just with the story line of instrument development I took. But before we start that, make sure you're following us on all our social medias. Go grab a shirt from the website before the summer starts, because we're going to start releasing more stuff out. So try and get the original ones out to you so you can have that nice, very nice fabric. It's a very soft shirt. I really like it. I'll sleep in it. It's like a pajama shirt. It's really comfortable. So if that interests you, go onto the website and pick one up for yourself. But without further ado, let's start. So ever since I was younger, I always had like a weird taste in music. And by weird, I mean like I never liked listening to music with like lyrics. It was always like piano music or like smooth, quiet jazz, maybe some Black Eyed Peas. I got a feeling here and there. Like that was probably like my favorite song growing up for some reason. I don't know why, but it's like the only song I would listen to that had lyrics. It was just, I don't know. Again, I don't know why. It's just, my ear didn't like the other upbeat stuff or really calming stuff. So I liked a lot of like choral and instrumental music. And then obviously through like elementary school, no, we have like our recorder classes and the where you play like maybe a little xylophone or take a hand at piano, maybe try some string and brass instruments just to kind of show you what the world of music is. Singing, obviously, in elementary school, we all had to do that with recorder. So I think
God.
I have a recorder in my closet. So I
Oh
mean,
God, I don't know where
it,
mine is.
yeah, and my little light blue see-through recorder,
Yeah.
that's probably not been cleaned in years. So
Oh no, that thing is
probably
nasty.
nasty. Yeah,
That thing
probably need to
is
deep clean it. But um, so as soon as we enter middle school, obviously we like going from fifth into sixth grade. We had like choir concert, singing the Star Spangled Banner, and all that
yeah.
stuff in like elementary school. And then you lead into sixth grade, where at my school, Tarpon Middle, we did this thing called the wheel. I don't think they do it anymore, but we have a 9-week quarter, and for 3 weeks each, you do choir, orchestra, and band. And I started in choir. I'm pretty sure I started in the choir room, liked singing. I wasn't very confident at that time, just because I did I just that sixth grade boy, growing up slowly. Like I kind of my voice wasn't sing worthy yet for me personally. And then I think after that I went to orchestra, tried my hand at cello for a while. Really loved cello. Like if I was to play any string instrument, hands down cello. Though I
Oh,
have a violin
100%.
in my house. I have a violin.
You do?
So I
Interesting.
do. I'm
Just
not good
casually.
at it, but if I picked up a cello, I think I could, squeak something out. But um definitely my favorite string instrument is definitely cello, hands down. It's like a French horn. That middle voice, it's just nice and relaxing. Um, then goes we go into band and you try all your band instruments. You have your
Right.
flutes, your woodwinds, and all that. I didn't even try a woodwind. He started with the brass. He gave me a trumpet. I tried trumpet. I'm like, okay, it's trumpet, whatever. Then French horn. I want to play French horn. Immediately, I picked up the French horn, played one note. I'm like, that's it. Nope, I don't want to try anything else. Nope, nope. Who knows? I could have been a really good euphonium player. Like I don't know. I just said, nope, no thanks. I'm sticking to this one right here.
Yeah.
And that's the path I took, is French horn right there. And, moving on from that, sixth grade was beginning band. We obviously are learning fundamentals. I wasn't very good at French horn. I was just
No one
starting, and
is.
I started to get like confident. I'd play my test in front of everybody, and Mr. Touchton would be like, "That's wrong, but it's right." And I'm like, "What did I do?" And he's like, "You played the correct fingerings, but you were on the wrong partial." And I was like,
Ah,
"What's a
neat.
partial?" So I'm over here playing like G instead of E, and like I'm doing the whole thing
Shame.
going down, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm right. I got it. Fingerings down. Let's go. Let's next test." So I just kept like failing. My ear wasn't developed yet. I'm in sixth grade. It's everyone has that time where your ear develops, your tempo develops, in like marching band. Because as a rookie, you may be terrible at keeping your feet in time, and then in sophomore
Mm-hmm.
year, you're a rock star. Like it's just your tempo and your timing and your ear just grow with you as you grow. And so I got so frustrated at French horn where I kept failing and I almost wanted to quit band already. I was like, I don't know what to do. And then I was like, can I switch instruments? And he's like, we don't have a trumpet, because I said I wanted to switch a trumpet. So my mom bought me $100 Mendini trumpet off of Amazon. And what did you know? The next week, I'm in the band room with a trumpet, and my nice gold trumpet got my mouthpiece stuck. That first week, mouthpiece is stuck.
Absolute
And
bozo.
yeah, and I'm like, put my French horn books aside. I'm embarrassed. I'm like, I switched instruments. I feel so bad. But I picked up trumpet pretty quick. I mean, trumpet, I feel like trumpet is a very easy brass instrument to pick up. And, I kind of progressed my way through that. We played some Star Wars, some Indiana Jones throughout that year, had a
Mm-hmm.
great rest of my year. And later I find out my mom was a French horn player that year. But like not that year, but like when she was in school, and my grandma had bought her
Nifty.
a very, very expensive French horn that she had left at the school when she quit band. So some school in Ohio has a free French horn from my mom. That was a lot of money. And I was like, Mom, and when I switched back to French horn, I was furious at that fact, because I could have had that French horn to myself. That could
Man,
have been
that's
my French horn, passed down from my mother. But no, she had to quit band. She had to quit band. But moving on to that, we got going to seventh grade with intermediate band. I wanted to get in jazz band, but I wasn't quite at that trumpet level yet. So sadly, I didn't jump into jazz band that year. But throughout sixth grade, and kind of throughout my elementary years leading in to middle school, I was watching a lot of drum corps videos and marching band. And I really wanted to join the Tarpon marching band in seventh grade, like really, really bad. Like
mm-hmm.
I would always like watch the shows. I would, watch a drum corps, obviously, really got looking into mellophone, loved the mellophone parts. I would see all these like GoPro videos of mellophones. I'm like, what in Lord's name is that? And I'm like, it's a mellophone.
Fun.
Sweet. But I mean, seventh grade year, nothing really much happened. I mean, I got better at trumpet, and I think I got a piano towards the end of that year. Not this one, but the one out in my living room. Um, yeah, I mean, pretty much. I think it was just nothing out of the ordinary. I was just getting better at trumpet, and that's pretty much it. I mean, I think I've really gotten to that mellophone stuff towards the end of seventh grade year. And then as going into eighth grade, I got into advanced band. I was fourth chair. I got into jazz band. And throughout eighth grade, we went to like Disney. We had a Disney trip for like
Yeah,
jazz, and like the whole music department went.
as the
And
Florida kids do.
yeah, of course. Not Disney, Universal.
Universal.
Yeah. And then that year we played Wicked, some more like a lot more like medieval type music, a lot of fun music to play on like trumpet.
Mm-hmm.
Um again, I got really into piano that year, really in the mellophone a lot more. Um, Jazz band, I loved my jazz band, very fun.
Mm-hmm.
Just I adore jazz band. I had some jazz solos that I love. We do this like Christmas thing in downtown Tarpon where we would play some Christmas jazz songs, and I would look at Mr. Chester and be like, "I'm gonna go up the octave." So I play like high A's on trumpet, and like as an eighth grader, that sounds so exciting.
Oh my God, so
Oh my,
cool.
high A's, and then meanwhile, side note, I was at Licking Heights this past Monday. The director wanted me to play trumpet to help the trumpets play louder. I pick up a trumpet, warm up, and I'm screeching out high B's and C's. So I'm like, and I thought I was gonna miss it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna miss this note. I'm gonna embarrass myself
I
playing first
really
part.
can't. I still can't really hit high C's and stuff on trumpet. It's just my chops I just don't have it because that's like that's a double G on mellophone and horn if I right
I can't tell you off the top of my head, but
something like that. Something that sounds
it's
about
it's
right.
high
It's
up
it's up or
there.
down a fourth. Yeah,
Well, and
it's
this is the other thing is it wasn't the type of mouthpiece I use either, so it felt
yeah
even weirder. But
yeah
she like we like play through like "Don't Stop Believing," and I screech out a B at the end, and she like looks at the trumpet and says, "Who did that?" And I was like,
me
she looks at me, she's like, "That was you, wasn't it?" I was like, "Yeah,
yeah.
I'm playing first part." She's like, "You got me excited." And I was like, "I'm playing
Sorry,
first part. You told me to you told me to play trumpet."
I'm gonna play first part if you give me
Like
the
I'm gonna
choice.
play first part. Like, come on. But
Yeah
back to eighth grade. So a lot of fun pieces. We did some traveling and um very development year for me. My ear got a lot better. I learned to transpose a lot more, and through jazz band, obviously, and
yeah.
learned a lot more of these scales, like all the like the Dorian, Mixolydian, Lydian, all these
Ugh,
scales, minor scales, technically with the Aeolian stuff, like all
you.
all of that getting thrown on the platter as an eighth grader, and I loved it. I practiced all the time, and then towards the end of the year, Tarpon Marching Band came, and I was so ready to play mellophone that I asked Mr. Ford. I was like, "Hey, can I emailed him. I said, "Hey, Mr. Ford, I'm gonna be a freshman next year in the marching band. Can I play trumpet for a wind ensemble? And can I march mellophone? I've gotten really into mellophone, and I know it's the same fingerings." And he says, "If you can buy a mellophone, you can be a mellophone player." eBay. Went bought this $400 Jinbei mellophone. I still have it. It's what made it got me through Madness and RP1. That thing went to Indy. It's like a nickel horn. It's just
Oh, you bought it?
yeah.
Oh, they didn't give you a school horn?
No. So I bought that $400 mellophone, started practicing the whole summer. We had the marching band rehearsals. I said peace
God.
out to middle school. Throughout all of middle school, I had braces too. I forgot to say that. So
Yeah, I'll
I always
screw you
had that
up.
like that little wax to put in my mouth,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
my mouth and cheeks would always be bleeding.
Yep.
Anytime I would try and leave class and go to the band room and
Yep.
like practice and this and that, and I got really close with Mr. Touchton throughout middle school, and he helped me through, like anytime I had like a personal struggle, he would help me, which was something I always thank him for. He's one of my biggest musical role models. That your middle school director, they do a lot for you. You don't
Yeah, they
even
do.
realize it.
No,
It's
yeah, they do.
that they are the ones that are troopers. They deal with us starting our instruments and all the bad sounds. Like they and all the out of tune. Like they deal with all that. So I could never be a middle school band director. So props to you if you're a middle school band director or choir or orchestra, just anything as when you start students. I could do it in a private lesson setting, no problem. It's just me, one student. But me, 200 students all starting their
And different
instruments, no
instruments?
thanks.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Sorry. I'll do it when like, they're more advanced and I don't got to teach them what a B flat is. Some of them. I don't got to teach most of them what a B flat is, but um yeah, so going into high school, we had Madness, freshman year marching band, and at Tarpon, uh when I was there, we usually only did marching band in the fall and then led into wind ensemble and did wind ensemble the rest of the year. Meaning we would not play like our concert horn, like trombone or French horn together until wind ensemble auditions stopped or it started. So Madness year, cool. We got Metallica, we got Radioactive, we got a bunch of cool music. We got, We Will Rock You at the start, Fire Show, Mad Max themed. It was a cool rookie year, but that was also the year of the mellophone cuts. We had 8 mellophones in an alternate, so 9, and we
Did the
would.
alternate ever march or?
She did not. She was an 8th grader. I think she filled
So
in here and there, but I don't think she ever like performed a show off the top of my head. I don't remember.
I I really that's one of my biggest pet peeves is
Well, she
alternate.
was an 8th grader, and usually 8th graders, like depending on the director's submission and also the numbers in the horn line, like
Yeah.
it would have been weird to write drill for 9 mellophones.
Yeah.
So that's like she was a great player, like she
Yeah,
great player.
we had a 8th grader my freshman year in Adagio Presta who actually turned out to be our head drum major in 2019. She played
Hey,
trumpet, but she filled in a hole her 8th grade year when I was a freshman for mellophone at Adagio Presto, and she marched the whole season.
hey,
Yeah.
well, props to her.
Yeah, I know, right?
But yeah, so Madness, and I was on mellophone, but throughout all of that season, since we weren't playing wind ensemble, everyone was asking me, "Are you playing trumpet or French horn?" And I was always like, "I am assuming trumpet. I mean, I don't have a French horn, so if I have to buy a French horn, I'm not playing French horn." But
Yeah.
then the directors come up to me, like, I have like Mr. Layton say something about it, Mr. DeLeon, Mr. Ford. They'll say, "I think you should probably play some French horn. We need some French horn players." Then everyone in the mellophone section is like, "Hey, we're gonna miss you because you're gonna switch to the trumpet section for the spring. We're gonna miss you since we
Play
won't get
French
to be
horn.
with you all the time." So then I switched to French horn again, and I said,
Nerd.
"I'm like really bad." Yeah, that's why I stopped playing French horn. And I pick up a French horn. Lo and behold, I'm playing the correct partials
Oh my
most of the
God.
time.
Wow, crazy.
And they have auditions coming up, and I'm like, okay, I have to play Fantasy on a Theme by Haydn somehow in this audition and learn all these scales now. Because Mr. Touchton, love him to death, but he didn't have us memorize every scale, all 12 of the
Yeah.
major scales we need for Tarpon auditions. You have to know all of them. And I think also your chromatic for your audition as well. And on trumpet, I knew most of my scales, but on French horn, I knew 0. And the fingerings were mostly different with all the partials being involved and how you can play like open any note. Like it's just, a lot of things go into a French horn scale. I have 15 different fingerings I could use, for a B flat. Like, put the trigger down? Do I not put the trigger down? Whole thing learning. Obviously, after marching band, we performed in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Cool. And then I knew, yep, here comes French horn time. So I audition and I get last chair bottom ensemble. Not a
Oh,
surprise.
you stink.
Yeah. And then I think like 3 French horns joined after. So then I wasn't the last chair anymore. We were all jointly last chair. So
Yeah.
I had my nice like quartet of last chair horn players that were going to
Love
play a
that.
quartet for solo and ensemble. And my mom and guardian at that time, we had a trip planned that I think like January, February, something like that. And I couldn't go to solo and ensemble because that trip was planned a year out. And
Man.
I didn't understand going into the Tarpon program that solo and ensemble was a requirement. So Mr. Ford, needless to say, was not very happy that I had to pull out of the quartet 2 weeks before solo and ensemble,
Yeah.
which I still feel bad for, but there's nothing I could do. And, throughout all of the freshman year, anytime I could get out of like class, I'd still go to the band room, practice French horn, try and get better. I had Mr. De Leon as my ensemble director. We played a lot of, cool pieces. We had our MPA, and then, obviously Promising Skies is a joint ensemble piece. And then leading into the end of the year when we went to New York City to play in Carnegie Hall. they were offering everybody to audition to play Overture to Candide. So all like if so you can go on the trip to New York, but if you want to play on stage, you got to audition to play just Overture to Candide, not the other pieces. So I auditioned. I think all of the French horn players made the audition for that nice melodic melody part throughout the piece, and I got to play in Carnegie Hall on stage with Overture to Candide as a freshman. We got to see the Statue of Liberty. We got to see, Blue Man Group if you decided, the Wicked musical, Aladdin if you wanted to. I went to the Coca-Cola Dizzy Jazz Club. So listen to some jazz. And I mean, after that, then we learned what RP1 was and led into the RP1 marching year. And I think that pretty much wraps up freshman year. Oh, I was gonna audition for choir. Griffin was gonna have me audition for choir, but then I never ended up auditioning, so I didn't get to be in choir sophomore year. We'll come back
Bozo.
to that in a minute. Um, but yeah, so that's a wrap on freshman year. I'm pretty sure. Obviously, still really into you know drum corps and all this beautiful stuff. And actually, funny thing, I'm wearing my Boston hat right now. My core medal, and I'm actually wearing one of my pajama shirts. Do you know which one it is? Should
I
I even
don't-
show it?
Yes.
I don't know. You see the color of it?
Oh God.
No, we'll leave it to the end. We'll leave it to the end. At that time in drum corps, my favorite corps were like Carolina Crown and Blue Coats and Santa Clara Vanguard. And again, we go into sophomore year.
Rest in peace.
The whole Tarpon Auditorium was being remodeled. So we didn't have a band room all of RP1 season. Nothing. We had an auditorium, and we got to have a killer show with Ready Player One. We performed in Lucas Oil Stadium and in the Orlando Orange Dome, or not Dome,
Citrus Bowl.
Orange Bowl, Citrus Bowl, yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's where the Citrus
And
Bowl is. Yeah.
yeah, where I had a knee injury that whole season where a prop smashed my knee
Nice.
together, and our soles were melting off our shoes in Orlando. And then we
Cute.
all had a killer, perfect finals run, and we were all confident going into retreat to where we thought we were going to win, or at least get top three. And then I had my GoPro ready, had it in my Shaco, and then I put it like kind of down in my hands, and then fifth place,
Oh wait,
Seven
fifth.
rings.
Yeah.
And we just let our hands go and just,
Bruh.
oh my gosh.
Bruh.
And then Broken Arrow gets it after us, and we're like,
Ah,
nah,
okay.
no, 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 no. There's no way Fish Show beat both of ours. Okay, there's no way.
There's no way fish show.
Okay, no way. But besides that, going on, we get into the off season. We auditioned for Wind Ensemble. I get third chair top ensemble. After
Nerd.
going from last chair, I didn't practice almost at all that summer, if I'm being honest.
Oh
I
wow.
switched from having like academics to only music classes at school. So I literally would just have like leadership, or not leadership, like music theory, practice class, band, and that would be it. All my classes were online. So I always had time. I was always in the band room like practicing after, but throughout that summer I was doing schooling, so I wasn't like practicing almost like at all. Probably more mellophone than anything because it was marching band season. And I was surprised. I was like, wait, third chair top ensemble, cool. We're gonna play some festive overture. You have to play the Barn Symphony No. 3, this Wild Goose piece by Ryan George. So lots of fun pieces. I made it into the all county band that year, where was our Mr. Pote was our wonderful adjudicator, nice ensemble director. So of course I got a picture with him, despite Mitchell, because I met Mitchell throughout that RP1 season in this giant mellophone chat.
Oh god.
And I turned that group me off a long, long time ago. Turned it off, deleted it. Sorry, too many notifications. And then Yeah, I got into all county, performed. Well, I sold an ensemble piece, Nocturno. Was gonna try and um upgrade my piece for state, but then I ended up not going to state for it because I didn't have time. And Griffin's mom was actually my piano player, so she was near and dear to me as my accompanist as my sophomore year, and that year, or yeah, sorry, freshman year, I was also volunteering at the middle school every day before marching band rehearsal and throughout the school year, 400 hours of volunteering, the saying. And then sophomore year, I didn't have like any time to do it. But again, it's like sophomore year, we go through all county. Then the show choir comes up to me and says, "We need a trumpet player." So I go back to playing trumpet. So I'm playing trumpet for Sophisticated Ladies and Syndicated Sound. And as we close out sophomore year, I go up to Mr. Cheeseman saying, "Can I audition for the choir? I wanted to last year, but I forgot." And he's like, "Yeah." I go in,
Sure.
go up and down a scale. You're a tenor one. Oh,
Neat.
and you're the section leader, tenor one. Go right into being section leader in choir for junior year. But yeah, as we close out sophomore year, we learn about Revolution Remix. And Mr. Layton telling me to audition for the Colts. I'm like, I want to audition for Colts. And then also we had like the two like North Pinellas band camps I helped out at as well. And then I went to a band camp in middle school. There's so many things I've done. I'm like losing track of everything. But then yeah, we go into junior year, still watching drum corps all the time. Got a lot more instruments. I bought a saxophone. I actually wanted to switch for sax to art for RP1,
Watching Devils get
but
robbed in 18.
yeah, yeah, huh? But no,
Egregious
I almost
pain.
played. I almost tried to switch, or I tried to switch the sax for RP1. Think about that. Almost not a mellophone player. So, but yeah, Revolution Remix comes along.
Shame.
I think I got everything for sophomore year.
I think
Think
so.
so.
Sounds
So
about
then,
right.
yeah, no jazz band in high school either. I didn't have time to throw jazz band trumpet in there because I started doing choir. Um, but junior year, we find out about Revolution Remix, and Ford comes up to me and says, "You need a normal mellophone." So I finally got a school horn. I think it was like brand new too. Um, so I got like a brand new mellophone for Revolution Remix, so I could retire the Jimbeo. Now I'm an upperclassman, so I got an upper class mellophone, Yamaha. And of course, we go through Revolution Remix, the Peace Beetle Show, Ford roasts Blue Coats a couple times. Um,
We
I
love to see it.
I hear Boston Crusaders needs mellophones, so so let me keep going. So, what's it called? Yeah, throughout junior year marching season, we do Revolution Remix, nothing too special there. Um, I'm always playing at my church as well. Playing with Isaac at church. We, would like make these little pieces and play them together with like mellophone, piccolo, and all that stuff. And then as we wrap out that season, we get into kind of when I auditioned for drum corps. Jarrett Littman was looking for mellophones. So I'm like, "Hey, here's a clip." He's like, "You got a contract. Welcome to the Boston Crusaders." And then again, moving on from that, we had a wind ensemble. We kind of move into like Mazlanka and Incheon, stuff like that going on. And choir season's going on at the same time. So, we're doing David and Goliath. Gotta make sure I don't miss this stuff. Section leader, got a solo and everything is awesome. We got in all these silver clothes for the show. Very shiny. I auditioned for all county band and choir. Got into all county choir as a tenor one, all county band fourth, third or fourth chair. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was fourth because Jacob Wiley was third. But yeah, I got into that and got into all county orchestra because the top four horn players are in the all county orchestra for the orchestra pieces.
Of course.
Yeah, so we kind of slowly roll out of that marching season. We went to Orlando. got beaten by Broken Arrow,
Yeehaw.
and because they came down from Oklahoma.
Cowboy.
Lovely. Can't win. So Revolution Remix was never a first place show at a BOA
Y'all
regional.
y'all
That's
haven't y'all haven't beaten from what I remember correctly, Tarpon hasn't beaten Broken Arrow since 2014.
it's fine.
And Broken Arrow is going back to Orlando this year.
No. Okay, but so moving on from that, I was
Bozo
always set on like
says.
music education as well. That's what I wanted to go into. I'd always that's why I was always in the band room, choir room all day. But like going into like the spring season or January, I should say, so winter, we had a choir competition go on. We had our all county choir stuff, all county band, then drum corps camp. This is 2020 now. So we heard of this little thing called COVID-19 too at some point, and we're in drum corps camp, learning. Gino's like, I want to listen to him play to make sure I didn't make a mistake. I come in and play like the first lick of number 4. He's like, oh, you're good. I'm like, you stress me out, man. Like I thought I was gonna get cut. Like you already gave me a contract. I we were gonna get cut. But no, we had a great Boston season. We had 4, or like a great Boston camp. We had 4 Tarpon people, 5 actually, I think. 4 of them in the brass line at that time. And then on the bus ride back to the airport, that Boston camp, we learned that Kobe Bryant died. And little did we know that was just the start of a lot more.
Yep.
And we fly home. Now we're kind of chilling throughout February, have a couple choir concerts. Wind ensemble's not doing anything too big.
What was
I had
it,
like an
February camp I was supposed
MPA.
to go to?
No, January.
That's right. Yeah, and then
Um,
sickness.
you got sick.
I,
Yeah, and
I
then
was I was very, very, very violently sick. I will say that. Like I was out, like
mhm,
gone. Like we're talking like 102-degree fever, 100.
yeah.
Yeah, not fun.
And and then we also had like solo and ensemble for band going on. But besides for that, my whole time was spent in mainly choir, practicing my horn solo, and then also just smart music with Boston, sitting in my closet at night, blasting because
God.
it wanted 30-second notes and it would never pick up the 30-second notes because it was played as a rip. And so it was just, you have to have a 98% and above. So a whole thing. But, we kind of lead into February, and Griffin and I couldn't go to the next Boston camp in February because we had a show choir competition. So we go to the show choir competition, have fun with that. We come back and we're rehearsing. We got a couple more weeks until our final thing with show choir for the year, for final competition in Tifton, Georgia. Because the other one we went to was in, I think it was,
Orlando?
can't remember. No, that was sophomore year. Because sophomore year we went to Tifton, Georgia, and that's another thing I missed. We went to Tifton, Georgia sophomore year with the show choir, and I was a trumpet player. And then we also went to Orlando Universal, and we got first place at Tifton and like won everything. Cool. But then going into junior year again, we had a lot riding on our back because we want to defend our championship and all that. But then we slowly close, and they say spring break, which is the week we were supposed to go to Tifton. They canceled Tifton because of COVID. They extend spring break by 2 weeks because of COVID.
Yeah,
2 weeks after
2 weeks.
that, yeah, or they also canceled state solo and ensemble because I also did like solo and ensemble, and then couldn't go due to something. I couldn't go to solo and ensemble again like freshman year due to can't remember off the top of my head, but I couldn't. So I just played the solo like in front of him and like the staff. Um, but leading into those couple weeks after spring break got extended, Boston camp got canceled for March and April. And then a couple days after that, they canceled the whole drum corps season. And then we were locked up. No more band, no
Yep.
more choir. We worked that whole year for choir to not get to go to our second competition, and,
Mm-hmm.
worked with the Boston stuff as much as possible. And then we started doing like all those Boston, videos, like with everyone in the pictures and
Mm-hmm.
band. We started doing smart music in for high school, and I started dreading it even more because I thought I had escaped smart music,
Yeah.
but not until the end of May with Tarpon, I guess.
No,
And then
apparently not.
yeah, throughout the summer, I basically just practiced, and you know, got really into like writing music at that time too, and throughout like sophomore year. And I mean, there's nothing I mean, it was a lot of COVID was spent playing Warzone with this guy right here. Like, I mean,
It
that's
really
all
was,
serious, like all day,
man.
every day.
That was we got sweaty, and
Yeah, that's when,
I'm getting sweaty again. Oh God,
yeah, it's, I
I'm
mean,
getting back in.
yeah. But I mean, that was a very sad time because again, I missed all my friends. I only hung out with my god brother Isaac. We played at church for like the church videos that would be live streamed to the fellow, like for the congregation. Um, but I mean, besides that, like it was just mainly watching baseball and playing games and practicing, and we kind of lead into senior, or throughout that summer we learned of like it was going to be Oz for that year for marching band, and then they canceled Be Away,
Troll.
and then I was told that I was going to be the dance captain for Syndicated Sound, and that Mr. Cheeseman wouldn't be back until November. So not so because he had I think it was he had COVID, and then he had like a stroke, something like that went down, and so like it really affected his body, and it was his last year too. Now, my
Not
senior
fun
year was going to be
stuff.
his retirement year. Mr. Layton was going to be retiring that year from Tarpon as well, and so it was like a whole shift in the music department. I mean, and we go in then again. Oz got canceled. We go into Hamilton, the Hamilton project, and then
The whole 3 hour
so
thing.
yeah. So we like slowly get back into school with the masks, like doing marching band, having a hole cut in the mask, and having the rehearsals we did, have singing parts. I was brass captain, and then I was given some singing parts, and then I was teaching the choir everything because like there was no music teacher, so I would like teach them the vocal parts, teach them the choreography, try my best to set some like special occasions up for Mr. Cheeseman, and kind of ran the choir department. And for a
Neat.
senior, and it was like a good taste of music ed that I wanted to do, and obviously Boston Crusaders stuff slowly started picking up as well. So we have all of these things kind of going at once, and then Tarpon started asking for fees, and I'm like, we're not traveling, and I couldn't afford it in the current living situation. Like my mom and I couldn't afford it with the current situation we were in, and I would rather pay for drum corps and put my time into really trying to make this last show choir show something for Mr. Cheeseman because he was going to retire. And that's his last show choir show, his last work. So instead of wasting money on a tarpon uniform and some copyright, I decided to leave the band department at my senior year, about half, like a third of the way through the marching season. I kind of departed. Um, I still played mellophone and trumpet. I still played all my instruments, and nothing changed for me. I still played mellophone for drum corps, and um, just focused all my time in the choir and really trying to get that show to be something. Taught them the Christmas songs, and for like to do at the pier. Mr. Cheeseman came and conducted it, so it was like a nice moment for that. Smart music for Boston picked up, so I mean, also obviously watching all these drum corps videos, and you know we had gotten our contracts back on unlike some other corps for the 21 season, and then we kind of shift into the spring part of the year. I got really into playing guitar and a lot more into piano, a lot more into writing music, and I
I
started
showed
giving
up
private.
down in Tampa.
Yeah, you came down to Tampa. I started giving private lessons to some French horn players that were like in middle school, and leading on through that the rest of that year, we didn't get to go to Tifton with show choir. We didn't get to go anywhere because uh, the choir voted majority and no. I voted yes to try and go to Tifton. Just it's an experience, and I thought we should have done it for Mr. Cheeseman and just gave it our all. We may not have gotten first, but it was at least we went and put something out, and we had already paid fees for it, so why not? But we ended up not going, and after that, I mean, I just kind of I was like, well, there's nothing else to do. So we started learn. We finally had a new choir director hired, and we actually started learning music and cleaning more of the show with you know a choir director, so I can go dance too and go sing so I could be my dance captain self. And Boston's again just doing smart music and all this stuff. I'm buying guitars and I'm just you know I guess you can say
Getting ready
vibing,
for tour.
just living out the rest of senior year and finishing up all my like online classes and um kind of preparing for college. I needed a French horn, so I got a French horn from one of my friends, and they let me use it to audition for college. I submitted a vocal audition and then a horn audition. Got in on horn, and so I let the directors at Tarpon know, like, hey, you know, I'm still going to college for music ed, and got in on horn performance, and so I was ready to go to USF. I had a whole hat going on, and um, then we slowly close out the choir year. We performed Zombie Apocalypse one last time on stage. Lots of cool makeup costumes and lots of choreography, lots of additions that we made. I had to change the sets for that show 15 times. I actually wrote dot books for everybody because it was just to the point because we had people quitting from choir and coming back. And then we were trying to have people that are online be a part of the show choir. And at that point, we got to the point where we said, if you're not coming in person, you're cut because we can't have you just dance online.
No,
So we eventually had to change the sets again because we got our final number and finally was able to focus on the show choir show because again people were half online half in person, so it's hard to do a show choir show when we have half the group not there. So we went from like almost 30 people to like 16, and I had to change sets with 5 different times. Our choir president like quit, and I kind of said, you're the new vice president, you're the new president, so you got promoted from vice to president, you're now the vice president, just because we just needed leadership to get it figured out. We just couldn't. And all day I was in the choir room. I had like one English class in person, but he just said, turn your stuff in at the end of the week. And I was never there. So I was always in the choir room. But no, yeah, we wrapped up the choir year. I was given like a choir award for like student of the year and stuff like that. Um, Graduated obviously, and then drum corps came, and it was time for me to say, I got my college audition good and had my choir all done, and kind of led into drum corps, and we did Zoom, lots of long days, but hell, I wouldn't trade it for anything else. I mean, it was only half a season, but with drum corps, it's like any time is hard. You get swollen feet, you get
yep.
shin splints, you get everything. I could talk about it for months, but I don't want to like bore you guys.
Random scars on your
Yeah.
forehead.
Yeah, random scars anywhere, sore arm, sore body,
There it
really good
is.
tan lines,
Oh yeah,
white feet, um,
yeah.
and circle drill and at 9 o'clock in the evening.
Miserable.
Yeah, miserable. But then pizzadillas, the drum corps snacks, lovely. We go on tour. Uh, our core necklaces were given to us at a Shaw's parking lot because the Most Precious Blood Church was closed because we like stopped too late, I guess, and we also were like surrounded by bikers at this one place we went to shower. um,
That's a little cursed.
yeah, and they were telling us like we couldn't see family throughout tour, though everyone saw their family. Um,
Yeah,
I
they
saw
said.
Mitchell, like we weren't allowed to mix cores, but all I saw
Oh
like
yeah,
blue coats
right.
people over here in cadets
Yeah, the
parking, and then
first. Yeah, I'm gonna
yeah,
be honest. That first show when I
everybody,
after we got out of our stuff, yeah, I
yeah,
look over and see the baritone section leader or euphonium section leader chilling with some blue coats, and I'm just like,
yeah,
okay, bubble. Yeah,
exactly.
right. Okay,
So
funny.
we go through Zoom, and a lot of people said Boston was the best out that year. Just saying, just saying.
Okay,
Um,
buddy. Whatever you
you
say.
know, we we treated it just as if it was, any normal DCI year as normal as it could be, and short-lived tour, but very fun. We had lobster and very great to perform in Lucas Oil again, since I didn't get to do it senior year like we were supposed to. And I mean, what we saw, yeah, Allentown. We still did Allentown.
Yeah, we did.
Worst snacks that day in Allentown. Oh my lord. I had the biggest air mattress in drum corps, but then after we started going on tour and like actually like going to places every night, I just slept on the floor with Griffin. We just patted the floor, slept on the floor. Like, I'm not blowing this thing up every day. Like, no thanks.
No, you
But
get precious floor time. You're just gonna
yeah.
sleep on the floor.
And then towards the end of that tour, I applied to become visual tech and at JW Mitchell, got the job at JW Mitchell. It's funny because one of the trumpet players in the Boston was going to USF and just graduated from JW Mitchell High School. And
Oh,
I was like,
really?
huh, hey, put a good word in for me.
Yeah.
And then we had like two other people, I think, that were at USF as well in Boston. So we had like a whole clique at USF. Like
Interesting.
we were all together. And so it was fun, go to USF, do that whole fall. I'm out there at JW Mitchell every Tuesday, Thursday, being the high brass tech, mainly trumpets. I was actually the trumpet guy. Um, we did heat of the day that year, so cool. So of course we had that blue coat vibe coming back. Um, USF, great. Got second chair in the ensemble I was in. I didn't get to play almost any French horn. I didn't get to practice any of the college stuff because I also got the college audition stuff a week before, and I was still in like indie, so I didn't really get to practice anything. So I did it the best I could and got the placement I was. Met a lot of great people, and then I wanted to move back up to Ohio, so I applied for the Ohio State University, got in, and obviously I was planning to march with Boston again. And then financials hit me like a train, and then I saw drum corps slip out of my hands as it's just so expensive now. Like I'm surprised anybody's doing it at this point. Like it's with how much everything is. Like I can't afford to, I have a wife. I can't afford to not have my income coming in. And I got engaged that fall. So then we moved up north and I wasn't doing drum corps. And I was like, okay, well, that's fine. I'll skip this season. I still got Ohio State. I was all good enrolled in Ohio State. And then financial aid kicked me in my ass and told me that they weren't going to cover my out of state cost when I was told they were going to cover at first. So I was not paying $18,000
No.
to go to that school, especially when I was born in Ohio. Like, I mean, I could have just said, "Oh, I've been living at my dad's," like totally. But yeah, so we moved up here, and I kind of felt lost. I just kind of just wrote music and kind of had nothing to do. Kind of started a career at the company I'm at currently, and then I kind of just told myself, like I can, write choreography, be a visual guy, and
If you want to go back to school later, you can.
And that's the thing. That's another thing. As I said, when financials come along, I could always go back to school, and I already have that technically half semester, two semesters because during drum corps in 21 with Boston, I was doing college, so I had morning block, middle block, dinner block, and then I had about a whole another block for just me to do like college work. I had like 2 or 3 classes I was doing during drum corps, which also sucked. Thank God I finished
That
it before we went on.
sounds.
Yeah, we went on tour. Thank God I finished it beforehand. But
Oh, yeah. You would
but
not have been able to do that on tour.
yeah, but we kind of that whole like blank period. Then I kind of as the spring approached, I started applying to marching bands. Like hey, I have experience. I was going to be at Ohio State, but just because financials, and I was planning, I was like, okay, well, I'll wait out these 2 semesters until I'm here for a year to where I qualify for in-state. And then I got to a point, I was like, okay, let me apply. Then Hilliard, one of the Hilliard schools gave me a call, but then they said I had to be 21 in that county. And I was like, well, great. Then I'll apply to the outer counties. Then I applied to Licking Heights High School. They immediately took me in with loving arms, said I'm the head visual guy. And you know, went through the whole season with them. We got first place. We're beating one of the bigger bands down here consistently, and kind of like a test year, very minimal work. Nothing too hard. Kind of like very laid back. Let's see what you can do, and next year we can turn it up. And had a great season. We started this as well throughout that time, and now
Coming up on a year.
yeah, coming up on a year very fast, and obviously going out to see these drum corps shows and marching band shows, and uh, trying to keep up to date on everything and try and do our part in the community. And but right now, all I got, and then I helped at Bloom Carroll High School too, and then also did their color guard auditions this year. Obviously, writing music and then doing lessons as well. And now I've been doing the spring training for Licking Heights, teaching the rookies how to march and all that. And they know this year is going to be a little harder. So besides that, I think that's kind of where it goes. And this last January, I could have went back to Ohio State with the in-state tuition. It's just with the prices skyrocketing and everything. My wife and I, like, we didn't really have that savings yet. If I could balance the job I have with school, I would go back. It's just as long as I got my FAFSA,
Yeah.
or FAFSA, whatever you
FAFSA,
call
yeah.
it. Yeah.
FAFSA, yeah.
And like if I would totally go back. It's just I was told my college was going to be paid for by parents if by my mom if I couldn't have the financial aid working, but guess not. So again, I can always go back. So that's why I'm not worried. I may, but right now I'm just kind of helping out any band I can and writing music and doing this and working. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. I still have like I have a piano right here. Like I still practice every day. I play with the band at Licking Heights to help the trumpets be more confident and all of the above. But and I probably miss a lot of things, but throughout um, school and middle school, high school, college, I've had so many music in drum corps, having so many musical journeys to where it's just so hard to hit on everything. There's just so much, but like that switch back and forth from trumpet and French horn really was a driving point for me. But as soon as I got into choir, I got a lot better at French horn, got a lot better at choir because my ears got really defined, and that kind of led into my music theory classes and also music writing. So, but I
Yeah.
mean that's pretty much mine. So, no, mine dragged out, but I like going into depth and stuff. So,
No, no, no. It's great. I loved it.
but yeah, if any of you want to come on and share your journey, please comment below because we would greatly love to hear your experiences because everyone has a different story and everyone has a different driving point. And you know, mine has been every single day I motivate myself and use music as my motivation. And even though I'm not a band director, though I'm a visual director, and I get to the best parts of my days is I work in the morning and I start working at 4 in the morning sometimes just to make sure I'm there with Licking Heights at the time I'm supposed to be, and that's the best part of my day every single day. So wouldn't trade that for the world. So, but that's pretty much it for me. So anything from you?
No, that was very informative. It was definitely some I definitely learned a couple things. Didn't know about you beforehand, but that's fantastic. I loved hearing about it.
Awesome. But I mean, okay. Well, if anyone else wants to jump on board and share your journey, please, send us an email, comment below, and we'll have you on. But without further ado, I think that's it. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all next week. Peace out.